Well, it's time now for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life in France. And this week, we're going to focus on the capital, Paris. Mayor Anne Hidalgo has caused quite a stir with plans to reform the administrative organization of the capital. And for more on that, of course, is Florence Villeminot. Flo, walk us through it. What are we seeing?
Well, Paris is currently divided into 20 administrative districts known as les arrondissements. Now, each arrondissement, each district, has its own mayor and town hall. This is where people go to get married, renew their passports, and do all sorts of administrative things. And what's interesting is these 20 arrondissements are shaped in a very particular way. They spiral outwards, clockwise from the city center, just like a snail's shell. And this is not a joke. This is really the way people refer to it and describe it, as a shell of a snail. And it's been this way for a really long time, in fact, since 1860.
All right, and Flo, and we actually see the mayor wants to, if you will, smash the snail and redraw the map of Paris.
That's right. Anne Hidalgo outlined her controversial plan at this week's city council meeting. Essentially, what she wants to do is take the four arrondissements that are located in the very heart of Paris and merge them into one. And by 2020, she wants the new map of Paris to look like this. We'll take a look at it in just a sec. You can see it here, that super arrondissement right in the middle where the arrondissements 1 to 4 used to be. So instead of having 20 arrondissements, there will be 17 arrondissements in Paris.
All right, and Flo, so what's your thinking then behind all of this?
Well, Anne Hidalgo says that the merger will make Paris more democratic and more efficient because the first 4 arrondissements are the smallest in size and the least populated. They're just over 100,000 people that live there out of the 2.2 million people in Paris. So it's not very dense demographically. And that's true for various other arrondissements in Paris. They're very different in terms of size and demographics. Let's take a look, for instance. You have the first arrondissement has 17,000 residents, whereas the 15th arrondissement, that's the biggest, has 240,000 residents. And you can see the difference in size as well. The second arrondissement is 1 kilometer square, whereas the 16th is 8 kilometers square. So Anne Hidalgo really wants to iron out all these differences. This new super arrondissement will essentially consolidate authority and increase the power and representation of the 4 smaller arrondissements in the Paris City Council.
But Flo, this plan, it is being criticized, as some are saying there are certainly other priorities that the city faces.
That's right. A lot of people say that things like pollution or safety should come first before rearranging the map of Paris. And in fact, Anne Hidalgo's critics say that actually she's doing a little bit of political and election manipulation here because socialists have controlled Paris since 2001. And critics say that Anne Hidalgo is essentially trying to essentially secure a long-term socialist domination by reducing the number of arrondissement mayors that go to centrist or right-wing parties. Because the truth of the matter is Paris votes in a very divided way. Let's take a look at the results of the last municipal election. That was in 2014. You can see it's pretty much divided down the middle. The blue is what went to right-wing parties. The pink there is what went to left-wing parties. So you can see the first and fourth arrondissement in 2014 went to the right wing. And so that is, well, critics say that is exactly what Anne Hidalgo wants to change.
Exactly. So they're saying that she wants to actually, it has nothing to do with the snail. She wants to redraw that map right there.
That's right. Critics say she essentially wants to turn the very heart of Paris here into a bobo land. Now, what in the world is a bobo? That is actually our word du jour. Bobo is short for a bourgeois bohème. A bobo is a liberal, a highly educated person who combines essentially a bourgeois affluent lifestyle with a bohemian way of life. And bobos tend to vote on the left. And Paris is full of bobos, particularly in the center of Paris, like neighborhoods like this one, Le Marais. Now, but what I was telling you about, the first arrondissement, the one of the 2 that voted for the right wing in 2014, it is seen as being kind of a bastion for the right wing in the center of Paris. And critics say that it will be swallowed up into this bobo vortex, this new super arrondissement, and that will essentially ensure that the left will win the next municipal elections. And guess when they're scheduled to be? 2020, exactly when these changes are scheduled to take place.
All right, well, so what are Parisians saying about all of this?
Well, opinions are quite divided. And what you need to know is that an arrondissement is much more than just a number. It's really an identity. Parisians tend to identify themselves and also judge others according to which arrondissement they live in. Are you from the left bank? Are you from the right bank? Are you from the aristocratic 7th arrondissement? Are you from the more mixed 18th arrondissement? Each arrondissement has its own personality. Now, what's interesting is this merger won't actually change the postcode system. So the first 4 arrondissements will maintain a little bit of their identity. That way, if you write a letter to someone in those arrondissements, you'll still be able to distinguish which one you're going to send that letter to. But it is going to change a system that is anchored in people's hearts and minds. Now, what's interesting is the merger now has to get the green light from Parliament. And as we know, these things can take time in France. So Paris is shaped like a snail, and it seems like the changes might go at a snail's pace as well.
All right, excellent. Always very enlightening, Flo. Thank you very much for that. And if you have any questions about France you'd like us to explore in French Connections, make sure you do tweet Flo at Flo Villemino. You can also check out our website. Flo, thank you very much for that.